My name is Sven and I'm one of the co-founders of Impact Acoustic. We have been founded in 2019 and operate nowadays all around the globe. We are headquartered and design our product out of Switzerland, but we also have production units in San Diego, Manila and Milan. In acoustics, size matters. Unlike other companies, we only work with high-performing acoustic absorbers, so we work with 12 and 24 millimeters. We do about 72% of bespoke products, and we have like Swiss engineering that is to compete with no one else. We did an origami out of felt, pretty cool. And to start off, I would like to give Jeff a little something to work on, so it doesn't get too boring. And to start the table setting, I start with our computer-generated parametric waist. That is number 1. It actually, each time we print it, it is coming in a different shape. And probably the most exciting product of today, the cotton flower. A new product completely made out of nature. So this is the tile. High performance. We are working on an NRC level, directly installed without air gap of 0.65, with 24 millimeter thickness. So how is it done? I told you the base is the cotton flower, and we use only the fibers that are actually wasted during the cotton production. So it's the fibers that are very, very close to the seeds. So they actually are wasted and end up in a landfill or are incinerated in most cases. However, for us, it's a really great base for our product. We use 75% of the cellulose, mix this with rocks to give the color. We grind the rock and we add up about 20% of white clay. And then we mix it all together with water. The water we use comes solely from our roof. So we recycle the water, and in the entire process, we keep on recycling the water. We press it, since we work with minerals as a colorant. They don't mix with water, they don't dissolve with water, so they set down, and we can reuse the water as well as the sediment without creating any waste. So we get to our first product. So I told you the base is cellulose. However, we can actually work with all different kinds of ingredients. My favorite is really the wine blend. So we literally have wine, the residues of wine in the production, and we mixed it again with some of the cellulose, the stone and the clay to get the product. So this is the product. Pretty cool. Doesn't smell like wine. Here we still have the scent. We can also substitute the cellulose with, for example, coconut. So that is the coconut fiber. All right. The cotton product is available in this measurement, 10 by 10, with the refined edge, so it's like a flat edge, or the rounded edge. The rounded is definitely easier to install. We install it with mortar, so it's normally like a tiling installer who does the installation. We also offer it in a larger size of 600 by 300, and by mid of 2026 we also offer it by 600 by 600, and we're also offering it as a tile T-grid product. From relatively low or small project sizes of only 100 square meters, we can actually also create your own tile. So we got a 3D file of an architect of this fluted design, and within 2 weeks we were able to provide the architect with this mock-up. We do this always 20 by 20. So depending on the size, always within 600 by 600, we can do different sizes. but we suggest to do always square sizes. It's easier to manage the drying process. Some more examples, they're pretty cool. So we design or produce those tiles for Galotti Radice. Looks amazing, and the design is basically happening during the installation. So with the direction of the tiles, so you don't install them all into the same direction, but you actually play with it. Amazing parametric designs develop. We're moving on. This is a tile we recently designed together with Cecilia Mantz. Product designer you probably know from Copenhagen. Some of you probably know her products that she has done for Fritz Hansen. This is tofu. Very, very fine, very delicate design with this imprint that simulates like the tofu. They are packed with 2 different directions, so at 13 degrees angle and at 90 degrees angle. If they're mixed, they give like little shades of differences when it comes to the lighting. Moving on to our product that everyone definitely knows us about, our felt. As explained in the intro, like no one else can cut and plan better with felt than we do. We have a collection of currently 45 colors. You see some of them are still empty. They're not here for this video, but they will be available early 2026. All our felts are available in 24 mil or 12 millimeters. We do not do 9 millimeters because size matters in acoustics. So a thinner absorber absorbs much, much, much less. Quite interesting is that the felt 24 millimeter to the cotton or the different blends of bio-circular products actually perform very similar and still quite different. So the NRC is similar. However, we absorb much less the lower frequencies, so like 125 to 200 hertz. So like an aircon unit, for example, is probably at about 160 to 180 hertz. So in those frequencies, we don't really absorb very well with the felt, but we absorb really good with the cotton. So all those 45 colors are in stock in very high quantities. Normally, our production lead time is under 1 week. And our planning teams that support us out of the Philippines reach planning with 3 to 5 days. So really, like, you see ourselves as your extended workbench. For design continuity, we decided to actually offer all 45 colors, not only in 24 and 12 millimeters, but also with their matching textile. Here we're talking about high performance textile. It's not an acoustic textile, but it's a really good upholstery and curtain fabric. So we talk about 60,000 Martindale. So it's even good like for public places like airports. Their minimum is 60 to 80,000 Martindale. So perfectly for your corporate office project for design continuity. So you can pick any of those colors and you can create walls, for example, in 12 millimeters. The Baffles, you probably use the 24 millimeters, and maybe you have some of the walls or some curtains with the matching fabric. So the interesting thing about all the products that you see here, we have with the cotton, it's a fully bio-circular product. It's made from natural product, and we actually can take it back. And we will take it back. We also organize the transport to take it back. We put it back in our big blender and just mix it again with the water that we circulate in the process. And we produce the same tile over and over and over again. So this is like pure, real circularity. When we get to the felt and also to the textiles, we are the only manufacturer in felt that has a functioning take-back program. We not only recycle the product, but we actually organizing the pickup. And the logistics part of take-back programs, that's probably one of the biggest challenges. Once we have the product with us, we shredder it, and then we chemically recycle it. But we recycle it at 37 degrees Celsius, so very, very low temperature, or just a hot summer day temperature. In order for the product to be recycled and the chemical process to start, we use UV lighting. That's a patented process that only Impact Acoustic offers. We don't just keep it for ourselves, but we actually also offer this take-back program to other products using felt that is not glued. As long as the product is laminated and not consisting on a single layer, or it is not installed with glue on walls, for example, we gladly take it back. Our facility has a capacity of 16 tons of recycled good per month. For the textile, what we're using it for is our acoustic curtain. And doesn't look so special when I show it right now. However, what's beyond the look of the curtain and the performance is really the circularity. It's the first curtain that is fully circular. It only comes in a height of 2.70 meters and in fixed modules. So that allows us that at the end of its use, we take back the curtain and we can just reuse the inner layers. The outer layers we wash, and we can use it in the next module for the next client. All right, to complete our collection of the PET and bridging to natural patterns, I would like to introduce you our wood grain print. It's a Riftcut. A Riftcut is basically a very simple design. It's in wood veneer, it's the most expensive veneer because you don't see any knots and branches. What's really interesting here is that the design is actually based on real wood veneer, a big sheet that we scanned and then recomposed using parametric design. The pattern is not repetitive. So when you install it, even on a wall, you just like with regular wood veneer, you just flip always the second panel that is next to each other. We have like this little Swissness print on the edge. So when the wall is not even, you don't see any of the underlining color of the panel. Now to the color, because this was something I really didn't like. Most UV printed colors smell a lot. Literally, that's the first color that we developed here in Switzerland that doesn't smell. So even it's printed on the machine and fresh paint, it has absolutely no smell. And it's the only paint that is VOC free and GreenGuard Gold certified. All our products that you see here on the table are Cradle to Cradle certified, Declare labeled, and LEED approved, BREEAM approved, and we also got the use on cruise ships. And what we use it most for, we can do wall claddings of course, but we use it mostly for baffles. You see here, our baffles are absolutely glue free, so this profile fixes the baffle, and the end part, made out of 95% post-consumer keyboards, is simply put at the edge and looks pretty amazing. We offer this product also with a light track. So basically here at the bottom you have like a magnetic track that can be used to put our lights in there. We have a series of different lights, spotlights, black lights, like this one. However, you can also use it basically as a plug. So really this is like just a very neat solution to integrate light of your choice. Parametric design. I mentioned this word already a few times. In architecture and interior design, mostly we don't use parametric design, but what it actually means, it's parametric or biophilic design. Some of the architects, like for example Zaha Hadid, most famous for their very fluent and biophilic designs, using parametric design on a daily basis. At Impact Acoustic, when we, for example, have to plan you a space with round sails on different heights, with different sizes, don't bother actually drawing it yourself. Just send us in a separate layer. You mention what products you want, and we basically do it for you. We do the planning. We can also offer you the acoustic consultancy and the light consultancy in your project. So we have like all this different kind of products that are completely adjustable to your design. So for example, if you have a wave ceiling like that simulated in this 1:20 3D model, you can tell us exactly where you want to end this wave. For example, you maybe have a bulkhead and you want to have exact this edge, ending the baffles on this edge of the bulkhead. So those are the little details that you cannot do when you draw it. I mean, every one of you can probably draw a wave as like a 3D body and then just slice it. But if you're using parametric design, if you use our service for that, we can really just get it to perfection. Imagine we have a baffle, we take a picture of my face. If you do it in a 3D model, you really have to think where you're going to slice my face, and you have to make sure that where my nose is, there will be a baffle. Our scripts notice where the nose is automatically. So the wave or any geometric shape is always cut at the perfect location. Also, I like this sample of a little droplet in the water, or a stone that you throw into the water. Imagine now you send or you throw a few stones into the water. We don't want that the waves actually cross each other, but we want that they get one wave basically continues inside the next wave. You see also here we have different distances between the baffles. So maybe we start with that. Later on the budget is not enough, so you need to come down with the price by 20%. So you have to change the slices. Going through our parametric design tools, we can just change the parameters, and we increase the height of the baffles, maybe or decrease it by 10% and the distance by 10, and you already save 20% of the cost. Now what's quite interesting for the installers, we developed a new profile. So the baffle is fixed like that. However, if on this line there is an HVAC unit, you can just move along the baffle. So this actually decreases the installation time by 20 to 25%. So you can save a lot of cost. We applied here application patent. With an application patent, you can change the design of the profile, and it's still patented. So when you have a design patent, you could change the design slightly, and you could overcome the patent. Also really, really cool, our baffles are endless. So we use this dovetail connection, where we use actually in CAD, we use 8 different layers of how the cutting machine has to cut it and what blade we use. So we use different blades, different speeds, different cutting direction to get the perfect baffle connection. And for you in your project, you don't need to have like those flimsy connections between one baffle to the other. And we mostly do the baffles in 24mm because size matters. Flock is one of our latest products. It basically imitates a flock of birds. So when you look in spring and in autumn, when the starbirds start to group, they don't know that they're actually building something greater than themselves. But there's like one bird flying, and then the other birds think, oh, okay, I just follow you. And everyone follows, and we create these amazing structures of thousands of birds. So how it works, we have like this, again, patented profile that's made of aluminum, so it's very light. And we have the different flaps. They go in here, then they go into position, and then they lock every 45 degrees. Take this out again. Of course, all those little flaps are different sizes, different heights, as you can see here. So that's why they are numbered. I'm not sure if we can see this, but this is A01-0B. So this whole system comes with an installation plan. So it's really important for all those systems to include impact acoustic at a really early stage. What I also really like, something not really new. I'm sure you have seen this before, but you have never seen it as a system. So very similar, and with a very similar complexity of flock, we created MERO. MERO is based on a T-grid system with our application patented clip. Put it onto the grid like that. Again, the whole system is without using glue. You take the baffle and you have the pre-mounted clips here. It's drawn exactly where you have to mount them, and then you just snap them into the T-grid and you pull it down. Super cool, and again, you can have it in all of our 45 colors, or also with our wood grains that comes in 32 different finishes and colors. And we have here a system with over 600,000 variations. So you have the primary beam, you have the secondary beam, you have the outer beam, or you can have it also from wall to wall. You have inserts, different kind of inserts, different kind of colors. And the cool thing is, again, you just send us the area where you want to have MERO. We drag it in and drop it into our script, and then it's basically done. And we play you back all the 3D plans as a mesh, and you continue planning and coordinating with your HVAC consultants. This is the PALLADIO. I have here also the sample that is also orderable. Super nice finish with the edges, not 9 millimeters, and we're using 12 millimeters, and that's why we can also have them much smoother. There's also no fixation, just the felt itself. Since we're using 12 millimeter, we have enough traction not to add anything to it. This comes in 2.80 meter height, but now you find this maybe a little bit too boring. You have seen this already, and you actually want to challenge it. You want, for example, to say you want to start with that color and go to the dark blue. On a gangway that is maybe like 20 meters long, and you don't like to have only one radius, but you want to have 3 radius, and there should be like a transition from color to color throughout the gangway. Just reach out to us and we create a script for you, free of charge. So we really love to do the special thing, to create new scripts. We are super fast in developing them, because some of the ideas, some of your requests, they actually turn into actual products. I would like to add this one as well. If you do have like some plans to make volumetric baffles that go through the space, that go up and down, we already have the script in place, and we mount everything together and deliver the product ready-made on site with a construction plan and installation plan. Last but not least, I would like to talk a few more words on our acoustic lighting options. Here we have a sample of Spark, has just been voted as Product of the Year from Times Magazine. Available in diameters of 1.6 meters. It's like a double workstation. So we have like those lamps which are really great acoustic absorbers, and we can mix them together, different colors, different diameters. All our lights are UL certified, and we sell them all around the world. So last but not least, Jeff managed to finish up Sonic. Jeff and we have 2 mini schnauzers. The mini schnauzer Sonic is part of your kit that you're receiving. And here she is, our Sonic. Thank you very much for bearing with me. I hope I could give you a little bit of an insight of Impact Acoustic. So we are much more than just an acoustic material provider, but we really give you solutions. We have the most sustainable products in the market. We have functioning take-back programs, and we really give you the stories that you want for your clients. We can have bio-circular products that are made out of coffee, algae, wine residues, or just old clothes from Louis Vuitton. We have done projects for them, or Montclair. So that's all about the story. Challenge us with new design ideas, and we love to work with you.